Hello, my name is Benjamin Hart. I'm an American attorney and the managing director of Integrity Legal here in Bangkok, Thailand. As the title of this video suggests, we're discussing the notion of equity. I want to be very clear. I'm not talking about this in the context of diversity, equity, and inclusion. That's not the concept we're talking about here per se. In fact, I kind of think the term equity has been somewhat hijacked in the modern realm, if you will, the modern arena, modern discussion of anything political or even legal. Equity in the common law tradition, it's basically this second form of legal adjudication, if you will. What are we talking about? Well, basically, if you go back into history, and I won't delve too deep into this, I'm sure people are already, their eyes are glazing over watching this video if I've even still retained any viewers. But long story short, equity occurred, the creation of what we would call equity comes about from what we call the court of the king's conscience, which came from the UK. It came from the common law tradition arising out of England. Specifically, it occurred because it came about, if you will, because Henry VIII wanted to get a divorce, split up from the Catholic Church, formed their own church called the Church of England, which he then became the head of. Problem is, they had to incorporate the old ecclesiastical courts from the Catholic tradition, from the tradition of Christendom, if you will. Those courts got folded into the British legal tradition in the form of the courts of chancery, or the court of the king's conscience. And basically the thinking was, you can go to the law courts where they will just read the law and apply the law. There will be no looking at the broader facts or anything of that nature. But you can end up with an outcome that was legal. The remedy is legal, but it's unfair, is the way I look at it. Equity allowed for the inclusion, if you will. I'm now using the terms equity and inclusion, but equity allowed for the inclusion of notions of fairness. Again, court of the king's conscience. Okay, it may be legal, but is it right? Now this got intertwined in the American common law legal tradition and sort of migrated over to that side of the pond. And I can't tell you how inextricably linked, it's so wound in our legal tradition that it's hard to get your mind out of it. I found, and I continue to find it to be the case, that I continue to make assumptions because of these equity notions that just aren't the case here in Thailand, because the Thai legal tradition doesn't have any of that in their legal tradition, because it was Thailand, it wasn't England. It was, this place was half a world away, and they developed their own legal traditions differently. So in Thai law, there are none of these notions that we would call equity in a legal context if you were looking at it through the prism of American common law.